All right, everybody. I hope you are buckled up for this one. This one's going to be a good interview with the 2021 Women's Pro Doubles champion at the U.S. Open just about a month ago, maybe not even quite a month ago. So she's fresh off that championship win. I could not be more excited to be sitting down in the kitchen with Callie Smith. She is a former college tennis player at a D1 school. You may have heard of it, the University of Utah. I actually told her before we went live that I changed the colors. My favorite color is blue, but in honor of her and her school that she loves and played at, I changed the colors tonight for her to be red. So, you guys, I hope you're as excited as I am. We're going to roll through these questions. It's going to be a rapid fire format. We're going to try to get in and get out and not take too much of her time. But we want to really let her know and show her love tonight, guys. So share this live stream. And without further ado, I'm going to bring on Callie Smith.
Hi, thank you.
How you doing tonight, Callie?
Doing great.
Good.
Just had some dinner, so I'm feeling good.
Good. I can only imagine what your day-to-day looks like with a husband, kids. I don't think you work a full-time job right now. Is that right? Do you work full-time?
I coach pickleball, so I guess you can kind of say it's half work.
Absolutely. It's more like a passion and a love, right?
Right.
For sure. So let's just get right into it. You are fresh off a 2021 Women's Pro Doubles Championship. You took down the reigning champs, Lucy Kovalova and Simone Jardim. I just want to open up the floor to you, and I want you to tell all of your listeners and all the people that love you what that experience was like, and just tell them everything.
Okay, well, first off, I just have to, I guess give my respect, number one, to Lucy and Simone. They've been the reigning queens for who knows how long, for years. And if they didn't set the bar so high, I don't think Catherine and I would be where we are. So they made us set our bar higher. And each time we played together against them, we did better and better. And we beat them actually at the Newport tournament right before the U.S. Open, and then they came back and whooped us maybe not whooped us, but it was a good game.
Yeah.
But they ended up winning it, and so we talked together and we're just like, hey, U.S. Open is our tournament. We're gonna take it. We're gonna get it. It's our turn. There's not a comeback, so they can't come back and win it, and we're taking it. And it was a dream come true, not only for me, but also for Catherine. I know, and just I felt like no shot. I was like, no shot can get past me today. I felt like we were on fire together, and even when we were down, I think we felt in control of the match. And afterwards, I was so happy. My adrenaline, I was like shaking like this. I was so stoked, and in fact, I couldn't even sleep that night. I was like up till like 5 or 6 till when we had to leave for our flight, and I just couldn't sleep. I was so excited.
Incredible. I mean, I'm getting chill bumps just hearing you talk about it. I was watching it live, and it was just such a surreal thing for you guys. You could see the genuineness in your faces when you hugged and you high-fived, and it was finally over. You finally were able to get over that hump. And I was at some of the other tournaments where you guys came up a little short, in Phoenix and some other ones, the Newport. You guys did beat them in the early round, and then they came back and beat you guys in the finals. So talk to everybody about the mindset you have to have, Callie, when you go into each new tournament, even though you maybe lost to them the prior tournament or something. What is that mindset? Are you always a warrior in your mind? Are you always a champion going in? Or do you let that doubt creep in? I mean, talk to people about that.
Well, at first, I think it's normal. I think you're normal if you doubt yourself sometimes, or you have bad days at practice or bad tournament days. I mean, it just happens. Sometimes you have a mental battle against yourself. It may be a physical battle, whether you're sick or something going into a tournament. And so there's always the element of physical and mental. You're battling both of those. So something for me that I have learned is no matter what, every match is a battle. And I try to stay focused And by focused, for me, what helps me to focus is moving my feet and watching the ball. And when I do those two things, I feel like it helps me to play my best pickleball, or the best pickleball I have that day, and working with what I have. But the one thing that I feel like really has helped me is, when Catherine and I lost the first few times, we kept saying, oh, okay, next time. And it got a little better every time. But the difference, I think, in our mentality going into the US Open was we said, this time we're doing it, instead of, okay, next time. It's this time. This is our moment. Let's take it. And for me, it's like, I'm not going to seek after next times anymore. I'm going to take it this time. We're taking it this time. And I think that's just being in the moment and seizing that instead of waiting for your next opportunity. It's this is your opportunity, and go out and get it.
I love it. And you're obviously no stranger to playing at a high level in sports. What is the experience like for you in pickleball versus, say, like a college tennis match that you played when you were a little younger? Is the adrenaline and the excitement of that moment, is it as good or better than anything you've experienced in the past?
I think that's what brought me into it a lot more was, it brought the competitiveness back into my life. And that's something that I missed for a few years, being out of the college tennis scene. But I don't have as much pressure. I put more pressure on myself playing tennis. And pickleball, it kind of started out as just a hobby. It was something I did for fun. And then it turned into a passion. And obviously now here I am, top 5 now, and it's becoming a dream. Or it is, I guess, my dream. And so I guess the difference is, not only does it bring back that competitiveness and the passion, but it also has the fun element. And I've met a lot of cool people in this sport who, a lot of them have become some of my best friends. So
for sure. For sure. And I've had an opportunity to get to, chat with you and talk with you a little bit here and there at the tournaments, because, it's a small, tight knit community, and you see the same players at every tournament pretty much. And I got to tell you, you're one of my absolute favorites to watch battle on the court. You're an absolute warrior. You've got that inner drive and that spirit that I feel like you can't teach that. I feel like that's something that Callie Jo Smith was born with. Would you agree with that statement? Would you agree that that's the case?
So, funny story, no.
What?
I had to learn it. I know, crazy. And I didn't believe it myself. My mom my mom was my tennis coach. Her name was Leslie. And she told me that growing up, when she was teaching me play tennis, she said I would come out, and every time I'd hit the ball, I would just smile, just laugh and smile. And she's like, I got to teach Callie how to be mean.
Oh my
so
goodness.
She would have me like grunt, like, every time. She's like, okay, I just want you to like, every time you hit the ball. And she said, every time I try, I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like to do that. It became not fun for me to do that. So it didn't come natural. I actually had to be taught how to be mean on the court.
So it doesn't come as natural as I thought it did.
No. So I think over time, it's become a natural part of me. So, it's the intensity, not so much the meanness, but it's more of the intensity. So instead of coming out and just, okay, this is fun, let's play. It's okay. It's fun, but I'm going to be intense too.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. Love that. And I love the background on that, because I thought you were born just with that, angry spirit on the court. You're one of the most nice, genuine people off the court. You're smiling, but when you get on that court, your mom taught you well, because you've got that poker face on for sure.
She did. She taught me business. It's business. It's not personal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I could go a million different ways with questions. I'm going to try to get on track and stay on track with these questions from the In the Kitchen segment. Let's take it back. We talked about the US Open 2021. That's been here in the now, but let's take it back to the very beginning, Callie. Where did you find pickleball? Or what I like to say is, how did pickleball find you?
So it was originally, I was playing tennis, I was coaching tennis, and I saw some people playing pickleball next to me, found out it was pickleball. And I thought it was the stupidest thing ever. I scoffed at it, lifted my nose up at it. I was like, that's not even a sport. That's not even a hobby. I will never be caught dead with a paddle in my hands. Like, no one can force me or pay me enough money to even touch that paddle. And I thought it was just ridiculous that people could even be out there hitting the ball like that. And then I would say about a week later, after I had those thoughts, my grandfather-in-law, his name is George Snell, he asked me if I would play a tournament with him. Like, how do I turn that down? Like, he's now family. Like, I think he was 85 at the time.
You can't turn that down.
It's like, I'll play with you. So I went out. I didn't even know the score. I didn't know how to score. I just said, okay, you tell me where to be. I'll just hit the ball. Quick told me the rules right before we played. And it was like a little round robin tournament. And we ended up beating the number one team who hadn't lost to anybody. We didn't win the round robin, but we beat the number one team. So that was a plus.
Wow. That's impressive, honestly. And what was your first reaction to that experience? Did you say after that, oh, I kind of think I could get more into this, or were you like, nah, I'm going back to tennis?
I thought tennis was more fun. So I'm like, okay, I don't hate it as much as I thought. I mean, I can see why people get into it, but it's not my thing. It's not as like, it's okay. And what really sucked me in was, so my husband, if you can believe it or not, is even more competitive than I am. Maybe not, but we're both pretty competitive.
We'll say 50-50.
We'll say 50. Well, yeah, we'll say 50-50. But the only sport, like the only racket sport he can compete with me at is pickleball. So we went out for a date one night. We just had a baby, and we had like 1 hour. 1 hour was it. And so we went to go play pickleball, and we were playing, and so two people came up to us, and I kid you not, they looked like they could not move. They had arm braces and knee braces, and they're like, hey, do you guys want to play with us? And I looked at Kyle and I was like, okay. I was like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play with them because it'd be rude not to play. I said, but we're gonna kill him because I want to get back to our date.
I love that.
So I said, okay. So I said, all right. So we went out there and we lost like 11-2, just got our butts handed to us. And I just remember thinking, what happened? Like, they didn't move at all. I swear. Their paddles moved and that was it. And we were all over the place. Like, we had just come out of college. We're super fit. My husband played basketball. I came from tennis. Like, there's no way these people just beat us. So it really was like, okay, maybe there's a little more to this pickleball sport than I thought. And I never wanted to lose at it again. So that's what really sucked me in.
That's awesome. That's such a great story. And this is a side note question off that same story. Do you remember like what first paddles that you guys played with? Do you even remember what those are? Do you still have them? Did you get rid of them? I'm just curious. This is a side question.
Yeah. So my first one, it was the Gamma Atomic. And you guys have probably heard of Larry Moon, but he came up to me when I was practicing with him, and he said, okay, he goes, you've got to get rid of this board. I can't even listen to it. It's driving me crazy.
That's so funny.
I didn't know there were any other paddles. So then he let me try his Paddle Tech, and I ended up going with Paddle Tech for my first official paddle, and loved it. Thought it was great. And then went from there to Onyx.
That's awesome. I love it. And you've been with Onyx ever since.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you touched on your racket sport background briefly. We talked about you playing at the University of Utah, D1 tennis. But take us back to your childhood. Did you play any other sports? I'm curious if you played basketball, softball, volleyball. What were your other racket sports or non-racket sports?
So non-racket sports, I played a little bit of softball. My mom put us in swimming, which I can say I sucked at because I felt like I was drowning in the meets, and even got disqualified for going into someone else's lane. It was not my thing. Let's just put it that way. I did get a few ribbons, but it was not my favorite. I wanted to play volleyball, but never got around to it. Most of it was tennis. So that's the one I loved and stuck with.
Was there ever a time where you didn't, where maybe you did lose the passion for tennis, or have you always growing up and then even into college, did you still have that fire and that desire? Because I hear about a lot of burnout with tennis because you have to be on the court so much and playing so much.
So I thought I loved it completely until I was in high school. I was about a junior in high school. I was number one in Utah, top 5 in the Intermountain, or number 1 in the Intermountain, and top 5 nationally. And I remember thinking, gosh, I want to live a little bit. I felt like all I did was tennis. And I was playing at a super national in Shreveport, Louisiana, and was playing a doubles match. And I just went to hit a forehand and something popped in my wrist. I'm like, well, that's weird. And I went to pick up my racket and I couldn't even hold on to it. And just a searing pain went all the way up my arm. And anyways, had to default my match. And the next day I had like Hulk hands. It was like blue and purple and some black spots. I'm like, I don't even know what I did. Come to find out, I had torn what's called a retinaculum. It's like a little sheath that holds all your ligaments in place in your wrist.
Sounds important.
And and tore all 3 ligaments as well. And I couldn't play for about a year. And I remember missing after the first 2 weeks of not being able to touch a racket. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to go try to play left-handed with my little brother just to be on the court. I remember crying on the court that I couldn't even play like short court with my little brother.
Goodness. Oh.
And that's when I realized, okay, I love tennis. And I actually, funny story, learned how to play left-handed because I didn't want to leave my Orem High tennis team stranded without a good team. We wanted to take state. So I played left-handed and we took state playing left-handed.
I mean, this could go into so many different questions. Did you serve left-handed?
Yeah. So if I show you my wrist here, so I couldn't move it. Let's see. I couldn't move it up or down like this. I don't know. I can still kind of show you my ligaments kind of pop back and forth here. Here we go. So I couldn't move it up and down this way, but I could hold it still. And so I could do a backhand without moving here. Like, okay. And then I would shift over and do it like this. So I'd hit with my left hand.
And use your right hand to kind of
It was like a cross. Yeah, I do like a little crossy thing.
Oh my goodness.
To serve, I would put the ball on so if this is my racket, I would put the ball on the tip of my racket and throw it up like this and then just hit it just to get it in. It was just to get it in.
So you weren't trying to hit like aces. You were just getting the ball in.
Yep,
and then
the ball in.
How did that, gosh, this goes, I could just spend the whole time talking about this, but did you change your style of play for that? So you had to switch it up because you're very powerful in pickleball. So it had to change things. We went 3 sets with one team and I have a twin sister and she was crying for me because I'd never lost a match ever. And up to that point in high school, and she was in tears thinking we were going to lose. And my partner had she had tightened up so bad that on a return of serve, it bounced in front of her and then into the net. And so I was like, okay, it was up to me to win that 3rd set. And so I just remember, obviously, and she helped out too. I was like, just make the return. I was like, just make the return and we got this. And I literally went to the middle and I just tried to get every volley in and move the person around. Unbelievable.
We ended up pulling it out in the 3rd setter and took state. So
unbelievable. That is such a crazy story, Callie.
Yeah. So there was that one. And then coming back from it, it took me about a year to strengthen my wrist and get back to full health there and then back to decent shape, because being in tennis shape is a lot different than being in shape. And I remember I was warming up for my first tournament back with my twin sister again, and I hit a backhand and felt the same thing happen to my left wrist. I'm like, are you serious? So anyways, I just played one-handed with sliced backhands. And it was about 2 months either 2 weeks or 2 months before I was supposed to go play at BYU. And so I learned a one-handed backhand because I couldn't use my left wrist, and I normally have a two-handed backhand. So I learned a one-handed backhand and played my first couple months with a one-handed backhand at BYU.
Oh my goodness.
I think that's where my determination comes in. It's like you never quit. You just keep trying. You figure out a way to win no matter what it takes. And I think that's kind of where that discipline came from.
Unbelievable. And also your husband chimed in. He said, this is her hubby, Kyle. She's such a liar. I give her a go in ping pong. So is that true? Do you guys have epic battles in ping pong?
He's beat me one time, barely once. like 21-23.
I love the banter. Maybe one day when I come out to Utah, I'll go live. I'll live stream you and your husband playing some ping pong and see who comes out on top.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So the question that I was going to ask next is kind of what you already answered about the first time you played. You got whooped 11-2 with you and your husband. But that question can be asked this way. How did you feel hitting the pickleball at that point? Were you uncomfortable? Did it feel like you were just driving everything? Like, talk about that experience that very first time, because the question was originally like, did you think you played good or bad? But you obviously said you lost. So explain though, like coming from tennis, was it just not comfortable or what?
I felt fine. I think part of it was they kept the ball away from me, just because I was pretty good at volleys coming from tennis, and so a lot of it was just trying to scramble around and cover. But we did pretty well. We won. I mean, we didn't lose by that many points. We just lost by a couple points. I think it was like 1 or 2 points to get bronze. But I felt like it was fine. It felt kind of easy almost. But that was, I think it was like a 2-5 or 3-0 level. I think it was like a 3-0 tournament. And so for me, I was like, okay, like it's all right. But then when I got introduced to some serious players, I was like, okay, it's not as easy as I thought. You've got to do this dink thing, whatever that is, and this stupid drop. It's like, what is that?
What is all this stuff they keep talking about?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first really high level group that you got invited to play with? Or I know Utah is just blowing up with good pickleball. Do you remember that? You don't have to name everybody, but do you remember that crew, that original crew?
Yeah, Larry, it was Larry Moon, Tyler Wren, Ben, gosh, I'm blank. Ben Aguayo and Chuck Taylor. Those were kind of my.
I recognize all
Jake
those names.
Waldrum. Jake Waldrum is another one. So I kind of my first 4 that I played with consistently at the beginning were Larry, Tyler, Ben, and probably Jake.
Incredible.
So that was fun.
All right. Next question, Callie. When was your first pro tournament, and how did you do? What were your feelings? How was your results then? That very first pro tournament when you took that big leap.
So my first pro tournament, I would say, was TOC, and I was. Let me think. I think it was either 7 or 8 months pregnant, and with my second boy. And I played okay. I think we took 7th.
Not bad.
I played
Not bad at all.
Played with Rick Roberts. Rick Roberts was my partner, and I'm thinking, okay, like I got beat by some great players. I didn't know that there were better players out there, so it was a good perspective change for me. Thinking, oh, okay, I'm so good, and then I'm not as good as I thought. So
kind of an eye opener.
Yeah.
But finishing 7th at TOC for your first pro tournament is not a bad finish. I think a lot of people would be happy with that.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. My excuse was okay. I was like, I'm pregnant, but it really wasn't an excuse. I was like, okay, I just need to get better.
I just need to practice. Yeah, for sure. Coming out of a tournament like that, you experienced 7th place. Did you walk out of that tournament, go back home and say, all right, it's time to get in the grind of training? Or did you kind of go like, yeah, I mean, I'll still try to, wing it and things like that?
Yeah, at that point, so my husband and I, before TOC, before we had even started playing kind of the pro tournaments, we had talked about not making pickleball our lives. We're like, it's just something for fun on the side, and if it becomes our life, then we're gonna cut it out, just because that's not super important, And I said, okay, yeah, agreed, totally agreed. And then once I lost at TOC, I was like, okay. I was like, I've played against some of the best. I said, I feel like I haven't competed that long, and I feel like if I actually worked at it, that I could be one of the best. And I remember we talked about it, and he said, yeah, that's totally fine. In fact, kind of cool story. One of the reasons I married Kyle was I would not have dated me. Let's put it that way. I would not have dated me. I had a hard time committing to people. And it just, my dreams came first. I wanted to be a tennis pro, or I wanted to sing. I had all these dreams and things that I wanted to accomplish, and marriage and a guy just weren't at the top of my list when I was 23. So, but what really sold me on him, he came over one day and he's like, hey, like, I just want to let you know, I don't want you to feel like like being with me is going to make you stop living your dreams. He said, I just want to be your number one fan. I said, he's like, if you want to play pro tennis, he's like, I want to be in the front row watching you. He said, and cheering for you. If you want to go sing, like, I just want to be on the front row listening to you. He said, I want to help support you in your dreams. I was like, oh, okay.
It kind of changed your perspective.
That, no problem. But he has stayed true to that. And when I told him that's something that I would love to do, he was 100% supportive and said, that's great. Let's do it. If that's something that you really want to do. And so I started putting in more time. And obviously everyone knows that he watches the kids when I go and watches them on the sidelines as he continues to support me and watch me play. Just love him to death, but he is the one who makes my dreams possible. And I'm so grateful for that.
Oh, incredible. Callie, I had a question about partners next, and I don't know how I can follow that up with after that, what you just gave us there. That was incredible. What a story. And I mean, kudos to him, because, you know, a lot of guys have big egos, and it might be difficult for them to accept that their wife is really good at something like that and take that back seat. But he sounds like, I haven't met Kyle personally, just through social media stuff, but he sounds like an unbelievable human being. I mean, to just support you and love you like that is incredible. You picked a winner for sure.
He's amazing.
That's awesome.
Got me crying over here.
I know. And now I'm about to ask you a question about pickleball again. I mean, what the heck? Callie, that was unbelievable. I got chill bumps just listening to that story, but so cool. So we're going to shift gears so you don't keep crying. We're going to mix it up here.
Please.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to get you off track with the crying. All right. So the next question is, what player at the pro level do you enjoy playing against the most in singles?
In singles. You know, I really loved playing against Catherine. I feel like we've had some great matches. She's a super competitor and a super athlete, and she makes it fun. She's a very tough competitor, and makes it tough for me to win. And
absolutely.
I like the challenge.
Awesome. And then who is the least favorite player to play against? And this is not a question where it's like, it's more about their style. Like somebody that, like Jeff Warnick would be somebody I don't want to play against, because he's so unorthodox, right? He makes me very uncomfortable when I'm on the court against him. So is there somebody like that you just don't match up well with from a stylistic standpoint?
I would say at this point, no, but now that you mentioned Jeff Warnick at the beginning, so he was one of the people that I lost to at TOC, and he got into my head, and I was already losing. And anyways, just originally I thought he was a jerk. I'm like, hey, who's this Jeff Warnick guy? I'm like, it just made me want to hit him. I'm like, what? I was like, I never really wanted to hit someone like on purpose. I was like, gosh, he's just rude. But after getting to know him, I'm like, okay, he's the biggest teddy bear ever. Probably doesn't want anyone to know that, but he is awesome. And
for sure.
And he's all talk. He's all talk, and I love it. And he's also a great player. So.
Very good. He's come on strong over the last year or two. Really, really made his presence known, and he's always fun to watch. But okay, next question. I love this question. I think I might have an idea of the answer, but I want to ask it anyway. What is your favorite shot to hit in pickleball?
Oh, I love forehands. Any forehand, I'm like, yes, this is mine.
Do you prefer playing on the left or the right side, the ad side or the do side?
I'm always really comfortable playing on the left or the ad side, just because my forehand's middle, and I love the forehand, but I also love my two-handed backhand. So I feel like both are weapons, so I'm fine on either side. But if I had a preference, it would probably be the left side.
Very cool. I know you live in close to Provo, Utah. I know Utah's got tons of amazing places to play pickleball, including the venue at TOC and some others. But what is your favorite place to play pickleball? And it doesn't have to be a big tournament. It can just be whatever. It can be something local. It could be the Nationals, whatever. But go ahead.
I have a few. I have a few favorites. Obviously, U.S. Open is now one of them. Just can't beat that experience and that memory. Another one was Nationals at Indian Wells. It was my dream to play tennis there, and some injuries and different things in life kind of prevented me from living that dream. And so when I showed up there for my first time at the Indian Wells tournament for pickleball. I said, oh, I made it. It's just for the wrong sport, but I made it. So it's still kind of like a fulfillment of one of my dreams, and actually one of my grandfather's dreams, who he was one of my coaches as well growing up. And I just remember thinking, I've made it. I've done it. It may not be for the sport he taught me for, but I've done it. And I was really proud of it, proud in that moment to be there. So that was another one.
Awesome. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. That's also one of my favorites as well. And anybody that's been there probably would agree and say the same thing. But okay, what
the energy there is just it's just the energy of the people and that love it. It's just the love for pickleball. You can feel it.
For sure. And you know it's a good venue with electricity and good energy when the people at home watching on live streams can feel that same energy, right?
Yeah.
So that's when you know you're somewhere special, and that happens to be one of those places. Okay, I love this question as well, and I know a lot of people are curious about this with the pro players that they love to watch on the big screen. What does your pre-match or pre-tournament regiment look like? You can answer both, because I think pre-match is a little different than pre-tournament, right? So some pre-tournament might be even food prep, but let's talk about the tournament prep first and then the pre-match.
So for tournament prep, depending on, so like let's say the week leading up to the tournament. So I'll exercise. I do lighter exercises. I won't do as many heavy weights. I'll do maybe more lighter weights or quicker runs. So for example, I'll run, instead of running like 10, 25-yard suicides, I'll do like four to five. So I'll just kind of cut down what I would do in half. My practices stay about the same. I probably drill 2 to 3 hours a day before, or a couple of days before, but then the day before, I try to keep it to 1.5 hours, maybe 2, just of some light playing, keeping it fun and light. So
awesome.
Kind of
awesome.
More pre-match and pre-week before the tournament.
Good stuff.
Food-wise, I'm a pretty healthy eater in general. I do love my treats, but I try to get, I guess, the nutrients my body needs. Lots of fruits and vegetables and some healthy carbs. A lot of carb loading I've heard is great, and I've done the carb loading before the day before matches, just so you have kind of the extra stores, because you don't have a lot of time to eat between your matches. So I try to get as much as I can the day before.
Awesome. That's good stuff. And have you evolved that process from the beginning of tournaments till now, to ways to keep from cramping, ways to feel stronger and healthier at the end of the tournament? I know it's a grind. I mean, people don't realize maybe at the pro level how much of a toll it can take on your body 3 days in a row doing singles, doubles, and then mixed doubles. Have you found little tips and tricks to help you along the way?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Before, at the beginning, I would cramp. I'd start cramping like way before even finals. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm just a heavy sweater. And so for me, it was like, oh, all these people, they're not sweating, but here I am, I'm cramping and I'm dying. Like, and I wasn't in as good of shape as I am now either. And so I was hurting at the end of the day, and it's like, hey, I've got to get in better shape. I've got to practice harder. I've got to do what I did for tennis, which was the lifting and getting back into that, and the running,
right?
Everything on the side extra. But I've tried a few different. I keep a few different, I guess, snack ideas inside my bag. I do like fruit leathers, like quick glucose things, something to get just quick energy. And I also do like electrolyte mixes.
Very good.
I don't like the sugar ones. I try to kind of stay all natural, or I'll make my own even. Or coconut water has been a good one for me. So it's definitely evolved. I have to learn and grow, and like, hey, this is what works for me. This doesn't. Granola bars are great. I make my own granola, and I'll bring that in a bag with me, and that's been really helpful.
Oh, very good.
Like, just, bring protein. So I can just mix it in some water real quick and chug it, and that's been good. So
Very
If
cool.
you have any other questions on specifics, I'm happy to answer them another time.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think a lot of people are curious about people's regimen with their diet and their food intake and stuff like that. So that's probably a live stream for another time. But I'm also curious about that because I have a terrible diet. So I could probably learn from the Callie Joe Smith diet plan for prepping for tournaments.
Hey,
But
future Friday question. Just ask me.
I love it. Yeah, yeah. And we're gonna do that at the end. I'm gonna let you tell everybody what you've been doing and all that with the social media stuff because that's super exciting. But this next one gets me excited. I love to ask the pros this. What is something that's in your pickleball bag that people wouldn't expect?
Okay. I have a very large bag of extra socks and extra towels. Because like I said, I have a huge sweater. And so I probably change my socks. I know this is probably gross for some people to hear. It's gross for me to do anyways. But I probably change my socks every two matches. And so I have
every 2 matches?
Every 2 matches.
So like if you're gonna be in a best of 3 in the like, so let's do a real life example at the US Open in the gold. You change your socks out at some point there?
So not in sets, not in the sets, but 2 like matches. So
like 2 rounds basically.
Like 2 rounds, yeah,
two rounds. Okay,
sorry.
I misunderstood because I was thinking every 2 games. Yeah. I'm like, that's pretty OCD, Callie.
Every couple of matches, I gotta change, or I'll bring like I have a whole bunch of. I bring an entire extra bag, but outside of my bag of extra clothes, and yeah,
very cool.
Change it too.
Very cool. I love that question. That's always a fun thing, and that actually shocked me. I didn't know that you were going to say that. That's actually really funny. Yeah. Good answer. Good answer.
That's one thing I wish I could change. If I could change something about myself, it would be that. I wish I didn't sweat as often, but I know sweating's good for you, but I still look at all these pristine people who look like they haven't even touched a ball, and here I am. I've looked like I showered. I'm like, all right, you all suck, but that's fine.
I know. You do work hard on the court, but certainly you are definitely one that I go like, man, she's gonna have to change shirts and change socks and stuff because you do, especially in Florida when it's. Now I understand why you live in Utah because the humidity is not as bad there, right?
Correct.
Very cool.
Definitely.
And this last question, Callie, as we kind of wind down, I want to be respectful of your time and not take too much of it. But this last question is a pretty important question. I want you to really think about it, and we can answer a couple facets on it. What do you look for when you're looking for a doubles partner? Because most of pickleball is doubles. Singles is picking up steam, but a lot of the majority of people play doubles. So what is it that you look for? Some characteristics.
Number 1, I look for someone that I am compatible with, as far as personalities go, or I guess you can say chemistry. A lot of people say, "Oh, what's your chemistry like with them?" For me, I need someone who can pump me up. I'm already hard enough on myself as it is, as a player. And so if someone's like, "Oh my gosh, like how did you miss that?" or rolls their eyes or does something like that to me, I'm like, "Oh, sorry." Like it's not like offensive, but it doesn't help me to improve in the moment. And so if someone's positive, like, okay, we got no worries, we got the next one. Or can laugh at a shot. Like for me, I'm like, okay, that was so bad. But like, I know it was. I don't need you to tell me that. It's so if someone can, I guess dismiss it and move on to the next point, then that's great. That's a big helper for me to, okay, they're like, okay, they're fine. Next point, we got this. Or just someone who continually pumps me up and gets my energy going to, I guess till I get my come-ons going.
Yes.
That's yeah.
So, well, and I feel like you and Catherine do such a good job of feeding off each other's energy. I think that is so important, right? I mean, that on-court chemistry is such a big thing with momentum. The way pickleball kind of has big swings in momentum. So I think you and Catherine do complement each other very well in that respect.
I 100% agree on that. So I'm really excited to partner with her and continue to partner with her. Like you said, we gel, and that's I look for someone that I can gel with that not only is a great player, but also a supportive player, and someone who treats me like they would treat themselves or better.
Yeah, that's just incredibly important. I've been playing pickleball for about 4.5 years, and I've actually played over 100 tournaments since I started, and that is a big component of having success is that person that's going to get in the trenches with you and just they're not going to give up or quit on you. And I just think that when you find that special thing with that partner, big things happen. Like you guys winning the U.S. Open
Right.
just last month. So, all right, and then I wasn't gonna bring this up, but somebody, I don't know who this is. It says Facebook user. They said, "How does she think her and Catherine are possibly going to beat Dane and Dave?" And let me clarify who that is. Dane Gingrich and Dave Weinbach is who we're talking about. Is there a little birdie might have told me there's like a bet going on, maybe some trash talk going on right now?
Well, Dane thinks that we're going to play a match. Catherine and I are going to play a match against him and Dave Weinbach. And if that happens, it's a big if. We'll see. But if that happens, I just think they better watch out.
So right now the lawyers haven't had anything signed in stone yet, right? It's still
No.
in discussion.
I think it's all talk right now, and that's kind of where they've headed. You know, Dane's a lot of talk, and I think Dave's a lot of talk. They're great players, but I don't think they can handle the CC.
The CC, I agree. If I had to put money on that, I'd put it on you and the other C, Catherine and Callie for sure. No offense, Dave. No offense, Dave. I love you guys, but 100%, I'm pulling for Callie and Catherine. So, but I look forward to seeing you on the tour in the future. I know, let's talk real quick about the future of tournaments. PPA and APP, they're adding more and more tour stops. What is your the second half of 2021 and the whole 2022? Have you planned that out? Do you know are you booked solid?
So for 2021, I'm pretty much booked solid all the way through the year. There may occasionally, be one or two changes, like if something happens to a partner or an injury or another one comes up that you talk about it. But I feel like normally people, at least what I found is people plan a year ahead. So I know people are already starting to plan for next year for 2022. And I even had someone ask me last year to partner with them for a tournament in 2023. It's like, I can't commit that far ahead. But
no way. That was not me, guys.
A year is already huge.
Yeah, guys, that was not me. I did not ask her to play 2023 tournaments.
It wasn't Scott. I can vouch.
I'll be honest. I don't know what I'm doing 6 months from now. I can't imagine booking something 2 years out. That's incredible. But that's wild. I didn't know people were trying to do that. Book you for 2 years away. That's awesome. What a great interview, Callie. Like I said in the beginning, you're one of the most down to earth, genuine pro players that we have on the tour. Your future is very bright. I have a feeling this is just the beginning. Winning the U.S. Open is just the tip of the iceberg for you. You're training hard, you're focused, you're determined. And when you put all those three things together, you're going to have success. There's no question.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like the hard work is definitely paying off, but I'm definitely blessed in not pickleball, but many areas of my life. So, which I owe to a very important other person in my life as well.
I love it. Oh. Yeah, you're a person who has strong beliefs in your spiritual walk, because I know I talked with you. You don't play on Sundays, and that's something near and dear to your heart. It's something that when I talked to you about it, obviously you were very strong feeling about not playing on a Sunday. Do you want to share anything about that? I know people are curious about that because a lot of times tournaments are on the weekend. So you take a pretty strong stance on that, don't you?
I do. So for me, so I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And for me, my belief is that Christ, Sunday is a day that's supposed to be set aside for worshiping the Lord. And for me, especially when our prophets and other apostles and people have come out and said that sports and recreation are not something to be participated in on Sundays. It's not meant for Sunday. Sunday is a day for worship. And for me, at a very young age, even during tennis, I I took that to heart. And I would actually give up championship matches. Even at nationals, I made it to the finals in a national tournament and withdrew. In fact, I had beat the girl in the semifinals. I beat her. It was 6-0, 6-0, 5-0, 40 love. I was up, and I came up to the net and brought her up, and I said, hey, I don't play on Sundays, and I would like you to go and move ahead and play the match. And she was like, what, like, are you joking? Like,
She was confused.
She was so mad that she, had lost essentially. And I said, yeah, I said, I'm withdrawing. And she was really confused. And for me, it was just, it's a championship isn't, I guess, worth sacrificing, or excuse me, the Lord to me isn't worth sacrificing my relationship with him just to play a tournament or to win a pickleball tournament. It's just not important to me. He is the number one in my life. And for me, like, I guess it's a sign that I give to him that he is the most important in my life. And I've prayed about it, and I've fasted about it. And I've felt very strongly that the decision that I've made not to play on Sundays is a good one. And
yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's great.
It's been really hard to say no, because I know how good I am and how good I can be.
Yeah.
And so it's been hard to turn down partnerships or not get partnerships because of that.
Right.
And it's been hard in other ways too, where if a weather thing happens, or it's just, I feel like the bad guy in a lot of situations, and that's been tough for me that way too. And I know for partners, it's like, gosh, well, why don't you just one day or a couple times? And I don't know. So for me, that's sorry. It's been an important thing in my life, is to put the Lord first. And I know a lot of people don't understand that. But for me, it seems almost as real as just playing pickleball. And
right. Yeah.
It's I've just a strong testimony that for me that the Lord is real, and I have seen because I have chosen to put him first in my life. I have seen so many blessings come from that, not only in pickleball, but with my family and in my own life, and physical like healings and blessings that was where I've been injured and been healed like instantly or the next day. And to me, it's not worth one day of playing pickleball when there are so many other days that I can play.
I just respect you so much for your beliefs personally, and your willingness to share that live right now. I think that's incredible. You're a person who has a backbone, and you stand up for what you believe in. And we need far more people in this world to stand up for their beliefs and to make tough decisions like that. And I remember when I talked to you back in January at the World Pickleball, it was a tough thing for you to make the call not to play. You were willing to do some other things, but at the end of the day, Sunday wasn't going to be something that you were going to compromise. And whether you like that, what Callie says, guys, or you don't, just understand she needs respect, because that is so hard to do in life, to stand up and to say no to people. Especially think about pickleball and how addicted people are to pickleball, and how easy it would be for Callie to say, yeah, sure, I'll play this tournament this time, or I'll make an exception. But if she does it for one, then she'll have to start doing that for all of it. And I just want to go on record by saying that my respect for you is through the roof for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Such a good way to end this, guys. Guys, I want you guys to really show her some love. Leave a comment. Let her know that you love her. She's amazing, guys. Look for her on her website. You've got a new website?
I do. Well,
not quite live yet.
It's coming. So,
but go ahead and give it, because when it's live, people will know. But it's not there yet. Is it calliesmith.com? I don't even know.
I'm not sure exactly yet either.
Okay,
so
okay.
It's in the process of being made. But if you follow me on Facebook, it's Callie Jo Smith, or Instagram, it's Callie Jo Smith _pickleball. Then you'll receive updates on when the website's ready and when it's going to be launched. And
for sure. And then your YouTube channel. That's what it was. It was your YouTube channel that you just came out with, right?
Yes. So I do have a Callie Smith YouTube channel. It will have just different posts of kind of Tuesday trainings, or Wednesday, my workout Wednesdays, or feature Fridays, where I answer either personal questions or pickleball questions. Whatever question you want to throw my direction, I will answer it. And additional training tips and coaching tips soon to come.
I love it. Callie, thanks so much for your time. Enjoy your rest of your evening with your family, and we'll catch you later, okay?
Thanks so much, Scott. Thanks for having me.
You got it.
Guys,
take care.
See you. Have a good night.
All right, guys, that was Callie Smith, 2021 Women's Pro Doubles U.S. champion, fresh off of that. What an amazing in the kitchen interview with her. I got chill bumps at least 3 or 4 times just listening to her talk about her experiences in life and her journey in pickleball. But you guys share this live stream. Make sure you follow Callie Smith on social media, Instagram, YouTube. Get linked up with her. She's going to be awesome. You're going to want to follow her for the rest of her career. You guys have a great night. This is Scott Golden in the kitchen.